If we're all ready, we'll get started, and we're going to turn it over in the very capable hands of our city clerk.
This is the pre-meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, July 14th. We have approval of minutes from July 1st, 7th, and 9th.
Great
Good
job as
job.
always. Thank you.
We have requests for a waiver of the noise ordinance on August the 7th from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m. on Moffett Road. And every Thursday, Friday in July and August from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m. At the corner of St. Stephen's Road and West Pritchard Avenue.
No problem.
Okay. Public hearings. Today is a public hearing to rezone property located at 3945 and 3949 Government Boulevard and 1251 Azalea Road, southeast corner of Government Boulevard and Azalea Road from B2 to B3. District 4. It's, yeah, okay. District 4, yeah.
I remember that one. They put down voluntary use restrictions too. I remember that one.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. We have two people signed for non-agenda items. Timothy Hollis, and his subject is regarding the study that Mr. Richardson conducted for Highway 45 redevelopment. He has 3 questions with regard to that. And Jimmy Harrell, he wants to express concerns about people not following rules in regards to PPEs. Yeah, mask, personal protection equipment, yeah. CIP resolutions held over 21498. Authorized contract with Mott McDonald, Alabama for 3 Mile Creek Greenway Trail. Resolutions held over 01500. Authorized agreement with Search Inc. for the Mobile River National Registered Nomination Project. 08501. Approved purchase order to Image Trend for annual renewal of software for the fire department. 08502, approved purchase order to AutoNation Ford Mobile for dump trucks. 08503, approved item-based bid award for Elkhart fire equipment for fire equipment. The 21504, authorized contract with SC Stagner Contracting for Lad Peebles Stadium structural repairs, Phase 2. AE has asked us to lay this over for 1 week.
1 week?
Yes. 6505, approved recommendation to sell a vacant landlocked parcel off of O'Connor Street, District 1. Ordinance is being introduced. 64022 is the rezoning on Government Boulevard and Azalea Road.
Will you make the motion to waive the rule? Thank you.
Consent resolutions being introduced. 03508, reappoint Elizabeth Sanders to the Mobile Downtown Redevelopment Authority. Oh, we got it backwards. Elizabeth Stevens. We got Steven Sanders.
I think you can just take Sanders off of that.
We're taking the Sanders off.
Just take the Sanders off.
03520, appoint Dr. Raul Richardson to the Police Citizens Community Relations Advisory Council. 6509, approve stipend for Captain Keith Stallings to attend the Southern Police Institute Administrative Officers Course from August 10th to November 6th, That's $5,000. 6510, determine an appropriation to the Boys and Girls Clubs of South Alabama serves a public purpose and approve payment, $2,145. 6519, approve the wage. It wasn't on. I don't think it's on there. Approve the Wave Transit System Public Transportation Agency Safety Plan.
I had there was a time when we were working with them and we had trash cans at some of their more popular bus stops. And I've noticed that one by one, those are no longer there. I don't know if that was a conscious effort or if they're just being stolen, but might be able to help both efforts. Maybe encouraging Wave to put trash cans out or put our own. I don't know what the better solution is, but.
And you said at the stations and or you said popular bus stops?
That's right.
Both.
And generally speaking, there's no cover, there's no trash cans. It just turns into a small little litter deposit.
Okay, well, I'll take a look and see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mr. President. Colonel, there are several locations in District 5, and I'm sure others in the city, where the problem is particularly acute. One is the Walmart. There's a bus stop there on that little road that runs between Walmart and Lowe's on the East I-65 service road. Another is the bus stop on Dolphin Street between I-65 and Sage Avenue. And those are just two off the top of my head. Thank you for bringing that up, Councilman Williams.
Mr. President? Yeah, I have a question, and it says to approve the Public Transportation Agency Safety Plan. And I know that our familiarization with Wave is limited. My question is, and why do we have to approve their safety plan? I mean, I don't know why. I mean, maybe we don't approve the safety plan for the fire department or anything like that. I mean, so why do we have to do it for Wave and we don't even have I don't understand why.
Want to offer, yes, ma'am.
Yes, the council generally approves major programs and policies of the Wave transit system. The Wave is an independent agency, but it operates under a contract with the city of Mobile, and the city of Mobile is the authorizing governmental body for adoption of this plan. So the city council has adopted the non-discrimination plans of the Wave. It's adopted the major changes to bus schedules, things like that. That responsibility falls on the city council.
So, I mean, is this, I understand that ALDOT submitted this, or so every city or major city in the state of Alabama has to approve their own transportation authority plan, or?
This plan is a new requirement. It was required last year by the federal regulation. And under the federal regulation said everybody, all the transit systems with FTA regulations said all transit systems within a year have to adopt one of these safety plans, and that they should have the state prepare the plan, and then each city, each independent system adopts the state plan. So that's what happened. ALDOT contracted with the University of Alabama at Huntsville. They developed a plan. The plan has a lot of requirements that are set out in the FTA regulations. There's a chapter in the regulations that identifies all the topics that have to be addressed. So the consultant went through that regulation and came up with this safety plan, which has been approved by ALDOT.
Yeah. And again, I'm not trying to throw no thrones or anything at this. It's just when citizens come down here, and like Mr. Mabins, and complain about the wave, and then we keep on telling them that we don't have no authority, but yet we still approving certain things. It's like almost a confusion there. I mean, I'm confused, you know.
It is a complicated relationship because the company that that has a contract with the city of Mobile to actually operate the wave system, that company, First Transit of Mobile, is the employer of all the people who work at the wave. But the operation is quasi-public, so it functions under the oversight of the city council.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Yes.
CIP resolutions being introduced, 21-511, authorized contract with Tyndall Construction for lawn recreation center flooring abatement and replacement and center improvements, $61,200. 21-512, authorized contract with TAG for Medal of Honor Park concessions and restroom renovation, $74,015. Resolutions being introduced for the first time, 01513, authorized small cell wireless pole attachment agreement with New Singular Wireless doing business at AT&T Mobility.
I have a question.
Ms. Rich?
Do we know what their program looks like? Because there wasn't any, like, diagram or whatever about what they're actually going to place on the poles. Just curious.
This is an agreement that allows AT&T
Right.
to attach its facilities to city-owned structures like street lamps, mostly street lamps. And the purpose is to reduce the number of poles that AT&T has
Sure.
to independently erect.
Right.
So this agreement is in place to facilitate any of their rollouts. It's one of the basic documents, so it doesn't come with an actual rollout plan.
Oh.
The rollout plan is provided as part of the permitting process when
So
AT&T.
nobody knows how big their box will be on top of a street lamp or anything like that? I mean, they don't give you any indication?
Chris Kern worked on the agreement.
I mean, they must know what it is they're going to put there that has a certain weight or whatever.
Yeah.
And I know this sets the amount per pole.
Good morning. The general size of these appliances, as they call them, they range from about this big to this big. It's just the industry standard. They're called small cell appliances. They're antennas. They're generally placed about once a block to help facilitate transmission between the large poles. So we know what they look like. They
Okay.
have installed a couple, I'm not sure where. But as Ms. Kessler said, the permitting department is in touch with them about their general rollout, and they submit a plan ahead of time, and then these permits are approved one by one.
Okay. But within the contract, it doesn't say that a certain height, above that is not part of this plan or?
This agreement is an attachment agreement that is required by our ordinance. Our small
Right.
cell ordinance requires that before a permit is granted, if it is to be attached to one of our poles, we have to have a pole attachment agreement. So the purpose of this agreement is to basically regulate the rights and responsibilities of the parties as to our pole.
For the $270, wasn't it? Is that the, per pole?
And that is based on the FCC guidelines, which constrain us.
Yeah, well, I kept flipping through all the documents, and I thought I'd see something that told me, what it is we're going to be looking at, so from a,
You will probably see that, you may see that later in other agreements, but this is just deals with,
what other agreements would we need to come forward to council if we've already established the amount on on the city's infrastructure. I don't see anything, unless I'm wrong.
I may have misspoken. I think we're working on an amendment to our ordinance to deal with small cells, and that may,
So the permit is the next step. This agreement facilitates the permit. But the person says that this agreement, as you probably saw,
Mr. Williams?
is just make sure things like,
You wanted to,
if the company abandons a facility, they're going to remove it. If they damage the roadway, they're going to fix it.
Right, yeah, it had the parameters. That's why I thought it would have a size parameter too.
So it's a framework agreement. It doesn't address a specific attachment. The specific attachment, which I think is what you're
Yes,
aimed at, that is approved through the permitting process. And the permitting process operates under a city regulation under chapter 57 of the city code.
right, so it doesn't come to council. It's like they'll make the application and it'll go through permitting. And the amount, we're fixing the amount, but not necessarily what they look like. Yeah. Right. Right. And did we write anything different for residential areas? Like if it's a residential street light that technically is a city pole? I mean, are they treated any different, or are they just all part of this?
Those are almost all Alabama Power poles, I think.
Not necessarily, but some.
The answer is there are provisions in the current right-of-way ordinance to address aesthetics. But also, I'd like to say, as Chris just alluded to, we are in the process of working on a redraft of that.
Okay.
Of the small cell provisions for the right-of-way ordinance, which we hope to bring.
Right, because that's what we talked about. It wasn't so much that they would be on a big street light hanging over airport or one of the major corridors. It was more, what were they gonna look like if they needed to come into residential? And so and we talked about that they would have to blend in, and, the pole needed to look like a street lamp or whatever, so. Which, if you had a huge box on it, it wouldn't look so hot. Okay, I just didn't know what permission we were giving based on just the 270 a pole. Okay.
and I can assure you, as far as your concerns, that we are being very aggressive with AT&T and all these carriers to protect our sovereignty over our right-of-ways. So we're taking all of that into consideration as best we can. The FCC is pretty liberal in favor
Right.
of the carriers at this point.
Mr. Davis?
Thank you. I just want to make sure that my thinking on all this is correct. We're really talking about three different technologies. We have the traditional giant 100-foot pole. Then we had talked earlier about the smaller poles, not power poles, not light poles, but just a pole that would be put in a neighborhood and have an attachment on it. But what we're talking about today is not either one of those two things. We're talking about these devices that are attached to existing light poles and power poles. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And as far as those are concerned, all we're talking about here is the city poles. And all these people assumedly have a contract with Alabama Power for the wooden poles.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank both of you.
01514, authorize intergovernmental agreement with Mobile County to allow the 13th Judicial Court System to use portions of the Mobile Civic Center, Arena, Expo Hall, Theater, and Room 16 for conducting court activity.
President, I'm sorry.
That's, Mr. Williams?
Why is this coming to us? I mean, it's really like saying you can use the park for a picnic. I mean, isn't it? Or is there some absolute requirement that the council's being involved with this one?
So Mr. Chairman, it would depend. The reason they come to you all is because it's an actual agreement for a long term. At least it's not a one-time use. And we don't know if they'll be using it indefinitely based on COVID. And then the secondary reason is because you're dealing with another entity, the county, not charging them any rent or any real cost. We want to make sure that we follow the proper parameters. If they were paying us rent, then we might have done it another way. But because they're only paying, the cost and there's no real rent involved, we wanted to make sure the council's fully aware of what we're doing with the publicly owned building.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Woods.
08515, approve purchase order to Sprigger's Choice, Inc. for sod for the Parks Department, $28,400. 08516, approve purchase order to Gray Bar Electric for LED street lighting luminaries, $39,326.55. 21517, authorized contract with Best Price Services for ditch mowing, Trinity Gardens, $26,400.
Mr. President,
Mr. Richardson?
I'd like to appeal to the council on this one, for us to take this up today. With all of the rain, we're getting all kind of calls about overgrown ditches in Trinity Gardens. And the sooner they can get out and start cutting this stuff down, the less complaints we're going to have. And I just hope it's not but $26,400. But it will provide a lot of relief to those citizens in Trinity Garden who are having to live with these parallel ditches running
Let's
in
roll.
front of the house.
Let it roll.
It's fine.
I'm
I
fine.
thought we had eliminated all the ditches in Trinity Gardens.
Huh? That's a dream, Joe.
21518, authorized contract amendment number 4 with Neil Schaefer for engineering services design fee costs, McGregor Avenue widening, Airport Boulevard to Dolphin Street, $24,870.
So, Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
so, Mr. Dave, so we're gonna get all this done for $24,870? Or is this, are we,
No, it's a,
It's a
Is this
design
okay?
modification to the overall project because of some changes in the right-of-ways, and so they had to do some design modifications. That's what the change is.
oh, design modification?
Correct.
yeah, this is an
Because
amendment.
I know good
to
and
the
well they're
original.
not gonna design the whole project for $24,000. They can have some modifications, all right.
Announcements.
Yeah, Mr. Hodge?
Mr. President, there's a request for an executive session to discuss 2 short litigation matters. Take about 5 minutes. It's appropriate for an executive session if that's something y'all want to do.
I don't have an issue. No, it'll be fine with me. Any announcement?
After the end of this meeting, yes.
Sir?
We can do it right here.
Right. So we just do a meet right here.
Let everybody leave and do it here.
If we clear the room.
We're normally we wouldn't be able to, but with these particular ones, we can do it here. It shouldn't be a problem.
Okay,
After this meeting.
that'd be
Yes.
fine with me. Any
Right, but
announcements?
technically, it's not a
Do you have any
processed
announcements?
meeting. It's not,
You got
it's,
any announcements from members of the council? Mr. Mayor, any announcements? So do we want the executive session after 10:30? No, after this one? So,
Need a motion.
right. Been properly moved in second. Don't we typically have to have a roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready.
Council President Manzi?
I'm in. Yes,
Vice
ma'am.
President
Aye.
Small?
Yes.
Councilmember Richardson? Councilmember Williams? Councilmember Days?
Yes.
Councilmember Rich?
yes.
Councilmember Gregory?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna ask if everyone would vacate the auditorium.
Yeah.
Well, I'll cut it off here.
Okay. Hey. Thank you. Yeah, we laid it over. Mm-hmm.
Miss Harden, I need to see you today too, if you don't mind. Can I see you after 10:30? I'll text you, I'm sorry. I'll text you. I got your number now.
Marion, do you need the meeting? I'll bring it. Okay.